And a very good evening to you all, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Fan Forum here on the Black and White United channel on YouTube. Thank you so much to everyone for joining, and a massive shout out to our sponsors, the Hopper Bros Barbecue, and of course, New Homes Victoria. Without you guys, nothing would be possible. We have a massive show here for everybody tonight, so I'm really looking forward to it. The link is up in the chat. So if you've got something to say, tonight's your night to jump on. It's going to be a huge week of football. We've obviously got the qualifying final, which is the big story that we're going to cover tonight. There's a few things that I want to speak about before we have people on, and they are jumping on at the moment, which is fantastic. So I look forward to speaking to you all, and just a quick shout out to Ben Zero, who has gifted one membership as well. So thank you so much. Before we do start, not Collingwood related, but something that I did want to just touch on really quickly, and I didn't have it in the run sheet, but I just remembered. Just want to give a massive shout out to Heidelberg United. They've made the Australia Cup final, formerly the FFA Cup final, and they're playing against the Newcastle Jets. So we haven't got the date and the time yet or anything like that scheduled, but just yet. But I'm a massive Heidelberg United fan, and it's awesome to see them make the first non-A-League team to obviously make the final, which is awesome. So I've just seen Mick's comment here, up the burgers. So there you go, which is awesome. So let's just get straight into it tonight. We've got a massive night. I also wanted to touch on, with whoever jumps on too, I want to touch on the All-Australian team. I did a video on it last week, but I've got the screen up in front of me, and I just want to touch on a few players that have been put in. The majority of the side, I will say, of the All-Australian side, the majority of the side is probably like fair enough. They're in the team, but let's just get to the first jab, because it's I've got two first jabs today, but we're going to combine them. So let's just get straight into it.
Shame on anyone to boot a champion.
Sometimes it may be good, sometimes it may be shit.
All right, so my first jab this week, it's going to the Party Poopers, the St Kilda Football Club, for having the audacity to offer Sauce what they're offering, and pretty much throw every chance that Collingwood and the Western Bulldogs had to get him out the window straight away. I'm not saying that we're not a chance to get him, but Jesus Christ. I mean, we literally had him. I don't think he's going to the Dogs regardless of anything, and any normal person in their right mind would obviously look at this and say, how can I turn back this offer? The only thing that I think Collingwood has got the pulling power of is the marquee games, and I've said this so many times: Anzac Day, Big Freeze, Easter Thursday. I mean, we've got the Peter Mac Cup against Carlton, which, whenever we play Carlton, it's always a massive crowd. And then obviously if we make finals, you're going to play in front of 100,000 people regardless of who we play in Melbourne. And obviously you're going to look at this week's game against Adelaide and then see how many people are going to travel for Collingwood. So that's my first jab. So that's a one to St Kilda to have the audacity to do that and offer someone overs at pretty much double what we're offering him. It's a bit sad because he's the perfect player that we need for our side for next season, but it is what it is. The next one, I'm not going to play the intro again, but the next one does go to this All-Australian side. And I'm a little bit frustrated. Now, I'm going to share the screen quickly. You guys should be able to see it now. Just quickly, Josh Battle, that's a 50-50, definitely worthy of being in the squad. Sam Taylor, yes, I think he's a fantastic defender. Jordan Clark, yes. Bailey Dale, yes, definitely in the squad. Most likely in the team. Probably should have been on the bench. Harris Andrews, lock. Wangan Miller, lock. Bailey Smith, yes, but I think he could have been one to start on the bench. Jordan Dawson should have been captain. McCluggage, he's back half of the season. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I guess so. Probably bench. Max Gawn, yep. Noah Anderson, potential vice captain. I think he should have been vice captain. Ed Richards' squad was amazing all season. Maybe a spot on the bench. Heaney, yeah. Cameron, yeah. Zach Bailey, squad, yes. but only the last few games because of Lachie Neale's injury, he stood out and got a run in the midfield. So, yeah, okay, in the squad. How that's not Jamie Elliott, and this is a Collingwood show, so I'll be biased. If there's Collingwood supporters or non-Collingwood supporters that are watching, click the link and we can talk about it. Jack Gunston, deserving squad. I mean, touch and go. Riley Thilthorpe, yes. Cozzy Pickett, mate. Like, they're clutching straws with that one. But his second half of the season, I thought, was really impressive. So you can, apart from Zach Bailey in this starting side, right, you can make an argument for everybody. Now, let's look at the greatest interchange bench of all time in one of the worst selected sides. Nick Dacos. You're telling me Ed Richards is starting over Nick Dacos, but okay. Marcus Bontempelli. You're telling me that Ed Richards is starting over Marcus Bontempelli. Caleb Sarong, definitely worthy of being in the side. I think the bench is the right call. And the same goes with Matt Rowell. I'd probably still play Matt Rowell before Ed Richards. You've got no ruckman. Now, I'm not going to sit here and talk about the whole Darcy Cameron thing because it is what it is. Darcy Cameron wasn't even in the squad. Sherry wasn't even in the squad. Brodie Grundy was in the squad, and Luke Jackson was in the squad. Brodie Grundy's had a fantastic season. So has Luke Jackson. Who's your backup ruckman in this side? Thilthorpe. So if Gordon wants to go on the bench and Thilthorpe has to go there, which one of Nick Dacos, Bontempelli, or Sarong and Matt Rowell are going to go full forward? So I don't know. I don't know how the selectors work that out. If you watch my video, I went over the interchange benches, disposal efficiency compared to the ones that started. And I think Dawson and Anderson and Bailey Smith were probably the only three that were worthy of starting compared to the benches that were around the same as them. So that's my first jab for the night. I'll remove that. And yeah, I don't get it, but anyway, the link is up in the chat. I've got a few people on. I'll just touch on some comments really quickly before we get our first guest on. So Luke said, "Hey mate, we can beat Adelaide this week. Let's go." 100%. I think they're actually shitting themselves. To be honest. Here we go. Ben said Saints offering farms now too. If they're not offering farms, I reckon they're offering some really nice apartments down looking over Albert Park or something like that. Boz is in the house too. Everybody's in today. This is awesome. And then hard to argue with your changes, mate. Some silly positioning too from the committee. Yeah, anyway, that's my jab. It is what it is. Quick shout out before we get to our first guest of the night. We are going to say a massive congratulations to Matt Moore, who was on the show last week. He's actually won the Black and White United footy tipping competition. If you can tip in these ESPN things and you can tip for finals and stuff like that, which I'm going to, everyone's going to, but the end of the home and away season, congratulations to Matty Moore. Absolutely smashed it for the footy tips. Ended up winning by one, but was consistently up the top the whole time, which was amazing. I reckon it's time for the first guest, and we're going to go in order of who jumped on first. I'm going to add Sean to the chat. I can't see his camera on, but I'm going to add him anyway. Let's see if he can hear us.
G'day, mate.
Hey, mate. How are you?
Not too bad. Sorry about that.
Well, that's all good. What's happening?
Not a lot. Just finished up with training tonight, and now I thought I'd jump on. What's been happening to you?
Oh, just work, footy.
Just work.
Getting ready for. I was a little bit quiet last week. I'm not going to lie on my posting and stuff like that. I think it was just getting ready for the storm that's going to happen this week. So the floor is yours. The floor is yours. What have you got for me tonight?
All right. So I've got a couple of things. So one, what's the odds of the power stands coming back this week during the national anthem for Adelaide?
I was going to say, for us, are we going to do it to them just to really get in their heads, or are they going to do it to us?
I would love to see Big Coxie doing the power stands. Now, that would be funny.
from as an emergency on the bench, standing over in the stands, or on the field?
On the hill.
On the hill.
Imagine
Oh,
being
can you
Coxie
imagine?
on the hill. Put him on the scoreboard.
Ben Zero's just read my mind here. He goes power stance with painted nails. Like, just
Yeah.
really give it to him.
Spirit fingers.
Bring it on, literally.
No, it's exciting. Last week just went on for far too long, didn't it? Just people making up stories for no reason.
Yeah.
Media was confused.
It's a hard one because there's no footy on. I mean, I think the saving grace was obviously you had that Legends game, which was just a bit of fun. How's Dan Gorringe, but pretty much tells the AFL where to go, as if the AFL is going to have any power to fine him. Like, what happens if he doesn't pay? What are you going to do? Sue him over $7.5 grand? The guy probably makes that every single podcast he does. Who cares? You know.
But no, that was good. I enjoyed that.
I enjoyed that. The game against Adelaide and Gold Coast, I think the hype was massive because of the stakes for the Bulldogs, and then the first 10 minutes of the game, we knew what was going to happen, and then it went to, oh God, here we go. This is going to be a drag all the way to finals. So, but we're here now. We're here now, thank God. Who do you think comes into the side? Do you reckon we make any changes this week or what?
Yeah, I do. Look, I would love to see Bobby, but I don't think he's going to get up. That is what it is. We know he's just building into it, so that's completely fine. I do think we might need to be innovative and do swing McStay down back just so we can actually strengthen our backline a bit. Now, whether that brings in Hoskin Elliott back into the team, or whether that brings in we go a little bit taller and we bring in Cox, but I think still gets the nod. I think he stays in the squad. Yeah, I think
over Parker, who's has no reason to have been dropped.
Well, I don't think he should have been dropped, but I think he just stays in. I think he's a little bit more versatile than Parker. But yeah, I do think Cox is coming back in to try and dominate their ruckman.
So do you think it's a straight swap then, just Howe for Cox?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think
Go on.
I'd like to see. I know it's going to be wet.
I haven't even checked the weather, and I should have checked the weather, but I don't know if someone's in the chat that can quickly grab it up. But if it's dry, if it's a dry day, you got to play Mason Cox. Like you absolutely have to play Mason Cox.
It's looking okay. So Tuesday. Oh, today was raining over there. Wednesday's going to be raining, but it looks 16 and a little bit of sun. So it's just going to be probably a little bit damp.
Yeah. Okay.
But look, if it was wet,
it's raining on the Wednesday. So the game. So I mean, it'll probably dry up, but you're going to have some sort of dewy thing. So
I would consider Mitchell if it was wet. But he hasn't played enough footy. So
yeah, and I did want to touch on that too, like the fact that the twos are now knocked out of the finals. I think that's a massive out for us as a whole. The fact that the players that are literally banging on the door waiting for that opportunity, and then to play finals footy in VFL, and now with the VFL being so big, covering the whole east coast of the country, the competition itself is a lot stronger, and you're playing against players, more AFL listed players from obviously the interstate sides and other players trying to get in to trying to get on lists, mid-season drafts and stuff. I mean, this is, some of these players might be part-time footballers, but they've got elite level professional skills, professional attributes and stuff like that. So you want to be match hardened, ready to go. And I think that's a real downfall for us, for especially players like Mitchell, even Bobby Hill, if he's pushing and they said, listen, you're close to playing in a prelim. If you were to get up against Adelaide, play this week in the twos, get yourself ready. That's a massive loss for us as a whole. And even players like, go on.
Do you reckon they'll play a scratch match? Like, is Box Hill out?
I don't know if they'll be able to play a scratch match because I mean, you got to remember a lot of these other sides have probably still got AFL listed players playing and stuff. So the permissions and stuff like that you'd have to do would be crazy. But
Yeah.
I guess during the week, if we were to win that week off, you'd definitely be going all out for trying to get these guys match hardened. But at the same time, you just don't want to get any injuries leading up to the thing. What else have you got? Because I'm still convinced. I think Cox comes in and we move McStay down back.
Yeah,
and I've just got this feeling they're going to use potentially Coxie as a sub. I don't know. I know it's a big call, but I've just got this real feeling that if they were to bring him in, they just see how the game goes and then just inject him where they need to in the forward line later in to give Darcy Cameron also that relief in the ruck. Because I don't think Adelaide's tools killed us last time. Like, even when it was wet, when it was dry, I think it was pretty even with their tools and stuff.
They got a fair few opportunist goals, but also Rankin's goal was a free kick. How many goals did they get from free kicks last time?
Oh, they got a couple. They got a couple. Yeah. I mean, from the second quarter and in the third, they got a couple, and that ultimately was the difference at the end of the game. But you know, it's the ones they didn't pay with those throws and stuff like that, which we can't. I'm not going to be sucking it up now. I mean, it was 3 weeks ago. We've got to get over it, sort of thing.
It is what it is with that. Yeah. Let's just hope that if it does happen, they pull it up. If not, hopefully we throw the ball and.
Well, we threw the ball twice. We threw the ball twice against them. Houston did it once, and then Schultz did it, and he picked it up both times. So we'll see what happens. Ben Zero says, does Mitchell just slow us down too much against the Crows who move the ball quick? Yes, but not if it's wet. If it's wet,
it'll be contested inside. So
yeah, I mean, and if you look at the game we played against them a couple of weeks ago, the intensity is going to be a lot higher. But if it was wet, and then obviously the other game was wet, Mitchell was the exact person that we needed, unfortunately. Like, just, you know, because they were getting a lot of the shit loose ball out the back, quick handball out and stuff like that. We were doing it as well, but they were doing it quite a lot against us, especially in the second quarter when they got that massive run on against us. So I think Mitchell's probably a good choice if it's raining, but if it's not raining on the day, I think he'll just be an emergency, unfortunately,
I think we can put the title on this game was Who Dares Wins. So if you're daring with ball movement, you'll win. And I think either side can carve each other up. It's legitimately who wants to do it, who wants to back themselves in to actually take the game on.
I don't think it's going to be a contest like it was last time, like the hardness of it, like getting sucked into the play, congested play. I think this one's going to be a lot more daring, a lot more open, and then we're going to see a lot more of the, you know, when we played against Hawthorn, and they were just, you know, switching the play, and then before cutting it into the forward 50 from the end of the square, they were switching the play and then just cutting it in first kick through the middle of the ground. I think there's going to be a lot of over the tops like that. There's going to be both sides are going to get caught out with the run and stuff. So I don't know, it's going to be interesting
to see if they bring both McElhaney and Rochelle in.
Rochelle won't be in. He's at least a week away. So I'm so happy for that.
Because he's like the perfect replacement for Rankin, isn't he? Yeah, well, Rankin has a better skill set, but he's not far off.
Look, he could be underdone still because of finals, and it's finals thing, and it's his first final.
Yeah.
So he might not be up to scratch, but he has. I don't think he's playing. I'm pretty sure he's been ruled out for this one.
Yeah. What about this one, right? So we'll go back to the equivalent trade stuff and all the free agents and all that sort of thing. St Kilda must have won Powerball or whatever they're doing.
I reckon that's just more they're underpaying what they've got already.
Yeah. If we don't get Silvani, would you be open to Finlayson?
He played down defence for he played defence at GWS a little bit, didn't he? And then went up forward.
And then Hinkley put him back.
I'd be more open to someone like a Laverty, even though I don't like him.
We've done the backflip.
Yeah, I know. I messaged you, I said nah. But I was thinking about it today, and I'm thinking I'd actually prefer Laverty because at least then he's just a one-on-one. He doesn't win every contest and stuff, but he just takes a main defender. And then again, it's what it allows the other players to do. Like it allows Frampton to take another crap defender or attacker and then intercept mark. It allows Darcy Moore to play forward of the ball, obviously depending on who you're playing against and matchups and whatever. But I want anybody in the defense that allows Darcy Moore to play forward of the ball, allows Darcy Moore to have more of that Nathan Murphy type role, because we've never replaced it, and I've said that openly a million times. If Darcy Moore's that player, we usually win when he's gets it, goes, and he's basically the quarterback of the side. When he's down the very last line of defense, he gets goals kicked on him. Like not just like one or two. We're talking like Patrick Voss, 6. We're talking like being outmarked by Sims sometimes for Richmond. We're talking young guys that haven't established themselves in the AFL are taking the P155 out of him, being down back that far. But at the same time too, that's also on the defenders, to take more responsibility, not just on him. But if we can get that thing, that's why I think Sauce is so good, because he can do that. And then if the game situation says you need to change something around, he basically becomes like the Tyson Goldsack. You can play him on forward, chuck him in the middle really quickly if you need to for an emergency. I mean, Goldsack's a good comparison because of the body height and the size and stuff, but I just feel that JSOS can have that Lee Brown type influence with us as well, because of where he can go. He's not as big and broad as him, but his height and his general size. So I'm really hoping that the Saints, as I said in the first jab, it's an offer that any normal human being would turn their head and have to look at it. And you can't begrudge him for that. But you got to remember too, he's not leaving Carlton for the money. This is something that's come late. I mean, $800,000 a year to play for a club that's trying to do something, or you can get $600,000 a year at a club where your best mate's playing at, and you get to have heaps of fun and play in front of things. I mean, take out the tax component of it, it's $200,000 a year more. Who's in the better position?
The thing is, do you want to play in front of 15,000 fans? Do you? Well, actually, even look at it in years to come. If you happen to do something really successful at Collingwood, you can do plenty of pub interviews for the rest of your life. You can do, like the 2023 boys, they're set for their life. They can literally pull up a crowd of 100 to 200 people every 2 or 3 months and be able to do those things. Like you're not going to get that at St Kilda. You're not going to be able to be like on the main stage of things. I think that's what you got to weigh into it. So after footy life, if you're a successful player at Collingwood or Carlton, like fair enough, Carlton. But I just seen actually Carlton were the second or third most watched team on KO, even though they were terrible. So do you want to go to a club where you're not guaranteed anything because they're bringing a lot of people in? It's going to take a while for them to gel. Or a club that's built on sustained success for the last, 2007? So 18 years. We've had 1 down year. Maybe. Actually, we've had 2 down years in 18 years.
Oh, look, we had some pretty crappy years, like 2014, 15, 16, 17, we looked better. But like they sort of set us up for 18 and then to make finals consistently. COVID was just a throw off for everybody. And
well,
then
you look at it, every
sort of stuff everything up.
Every 3 seasons we make a grand final.
I think it averages out to 3 or 3.5 years. Yeah, in the whole AFL thing, if you put it the way we've made grand finals. So,
and Dermy said something a long time ago on SEN, and it stuck with me for a while. DNAs of clubs, they stick to those clubs. It takes a long time to change the DNA of a club. Now, if you're a successful club, that DNA will travel through the years with you, such as Hawthorn, us, and others have been successful. But if you're not
Geelong.
a successful club,
Yeah.
Geelong, yeah. If you're not a successful club, you have to fight tooth and nail to get out of that rut. Now, do you want to go to a club that's going to struggle, or do you want to go to a club that potentially will? Yeah, we might have a down year next year. Who knows? But in 2 years' time, we're going to be challenging again.
Well, I think that too. But then if you also look at playing at St Kilda, I mean, you've got there's no big games or anything like that.
No, nothing.
There's you barely play at the MCG. He's used to playing at the G and at Marvel because Carlton obviously play more games at Marvel as well. So that might suit him. But I mean, you would rather play at the MCG for that too. But
I heard something before I go. I heard something really, really interesting. And I think little Godcos is doing his recruiting already. So the other night at the AA Awards, Nick was asked about most valuable player and all that type of stuff. And for some reason, he just banged on about Butters for a good 2-3 minutes. Did you hear that one?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
and then do you remember when I think it was at the start of the season where Dacos was playing well, Butters said something in an interview about the interchange stuff being tagged. And he goes, "Oh, I learnt off the best. I learned off Nick Dacos how he does it."
So there's something in it.
I think so. I think Hawthorn are probably in the pole position to land him. But at the end of the day, if he wants to get somewhere as a free agent, he'll get there. And it's the same thing with Sauce. But, it's just the treasure chest of, what they're offering. And as I said, any person is going to have a look at that regardless. But we're going to move on. I've got to get some other people on. Thank you so much for jumping on. Before I let you go, just give me a tip for the Adelaide game.
Pies by 10.
Pies by 10. All right. I'll keep that. Let's see if it works. All right, mate. I hope so. All right. Take care, buddy. I'll talk to you soon. Cheers. Thanks for coming on. Thanks. All right. We'll just have a look at just a couple of these comments before I get the next person on. So Bozza said it's going to be dry. And if Bozza said it's going to be dry against Adelaide, it's going to be dry against Adelaide. Stephanos has said here, must back in the youth Parker and Steele both bring speed and transition, fast footy through the corridor, taking advantage of the high inside 50s. I don't mind that, but I don't think that there's room in a final for both Parker and Steele. It's got to be one or the other in my opinion. And I'd probably stick with Parker because he's proven himself also against Adelaide, and I just think he's a bit more match hardened with a bit more experience. So to be honest with you, I probably, after all those ones that we said before, I'll probably bring in Markov at halfback, to be honest. Adam C said, what's your thoughts on Howes in debutant and McStay back? If it was around 6, yes, because the guy looks huge. Just don't think a qualifying final in the AFL after playing state footy this season is the right move, but I reckon he is going to jump I reckon Howes, I'll just say this now and we can, if I'm wrong, I'll put my hand up, but if this is correct, keep the receipt for this. Howes will jump the queue for a lot of players next season. And I reckon he's probably going to get his first game before players like DiMattia, maybe even before Will Hayes gets another run. I think even before Charlie West, I reckon Howes is going to be the one that's just sneaks through the pack. He won't play every week, but he'll play more games than the others. So good call. Just timing's wrong at the moment. Peter has jumped in. A Carlton supporter has jumped in. How good is this? Bobby Hill might be coming back. Look, I'm going to touch on Bobby Hill in a minute, and I'm going to bring on Sean from Ultimate Greatness, who's been waiting in the wings. I'm not sure if his camera's on, but I'll add him anyway. Sean, you there, buddy? How are you, mate?
Yep.
You there, buddy?
Yeah, I'm here.
Nice. What have you got for me today?
Nothing specific. Obviously, just got thoughts on Adelaide at the moment because kind of don't want to look too far ahead because just want to win that game and hopefully move on to a prelim. Sort of reckon, or I sort of get the feeling that we sort of need to go hard early. Because if you just look at Adelaide's like sort of situation at the moment, you just sort of feel that if we have a really strong first half, and even if we get like say a 30-point lead, I think that the doubts will sort of start to the doubts will probably creep in a bit, and or probably not necessarily the doubts, but just just the thinking of, oh, we can always just play our best like the week after because and then also with you just touched on him before with like Shelley will probably be back for the semi. Isaac Rankin will probably be available for the grand final if they make it. I feel like there's plenty of reasons to why they won't be against losing it, but obviously, I think any team would obviously want to go into a qualifying final wanting to win it. I think I don't think it'd be wise to assume that they'd be going in to lose it, but
No.
but
I think
it will be in the back of their minds.
The advantage for Adelaide, though, is if they do lose it, they do get that home semi-final. And that's the same with us, too. We get the home semi-final as well. But, geez, I don't want to play Hawthorn in a semi-final. I think if we played Hawthorn in the semi, I just think one-on-one, matchup for matchup, pound for pound. I know we slapped them at the start of the season, but I just don't see us beating them, and that's my honest opinion. I can see us beating any side in the 8 in finals, even Geelong and Brisbane. I can see us beating them, especially at home. But I just don't see us beating Hawthorn. I just think they've got too much wood over us. And that's why I think for us, this qualifying final, and let's be real, we win this qualifying final and we go to the prelim, I think we'll play either Geelong or Brisbane. We'll probably end up playing the loser out of the first qualifying final if we make it. And I think in the prelim, we can beat both of those. I know I'm jumping the gun. We've got to get through Adelaide. But I just think that this game against Adelaide, we've got everything working with us in the sense of apart from Bobby Hill and Jeremy Howe, I know they're two massive outs for us at the moment, and we desperately need them 100% fit in the side. I just think everything else is there. Everything else is working. What's your opinion on bringing Mason Cox into this one? What would you think?
Obviously there was a live stream before, just sort of had a bit of a mention over that sort of like topic. I personally, I just don't want to have him in the side. I just think that what he does, it's not, I mean, he does do like a few things, like he's not like a one-trick pony, but I just don't think that the value that he has, I don't think it complements the side enough. Like, I think McStay, yes, we know McStay has poor form currently as it stands. But I think the only reason why we're mentioning Cox as an idea is because McStay is playing poor, and if McStay, if McStay plays the qualifying final and he has that 23 form that he had in the finals, like it doesn't become a conversation because then it's McStay over Cox every time.
Well, it's McStay over Cox now, even with McStay being in poor form. It's still I don't think they'll look. My personal opinion is I don't think that they'll include Cox in this team at least for this week. I think Cox's only way he can make the team is if there is an injury to one of the 3 forwards or McStay or obviously Darcy Cameron, which I pray to God that never happens, especially this final series. I think then
Mhm.
Cox definitely has to come straight in. I just think that his work as a tap ruckman relieving Darcy Cameron is something that whenever he does play there, we always get close to winning or we win. And I do think the role is there. But at the same time, because we've got the triple M's up forward, you can't be too tall. And I understand that.
Yeah.
I understand that you can't have 7 or 8 guys over 6 foot tall in your well over 6 foot. You know, one's pushing 7 foot. You just can't have them because you need more players running on the ground. And I totally get that. If it's wet, then there's a question mark. But then it's, do you play Tom Mitchell for the contested, stoppage work? Because he can get the ball and he can feed it out pretty damn good. Or are you going to, if it's wet, you're obviously not going to play Mason Cox. If it's dry, which it will be, it's his chance. But I just think they're going to stick with McStay more than anything. Sean, there was something that I wanted to talk to you about too. Did you listen to the comments made by Craig Kelly today on SEN?
I feel like I have, but for some reason the context is leaving me right now.
No. So there was 2 topics that he spoke about. There's one that I'm going to talk to you about in particular, and I want to get your opinion on.
About Checkers and Elliot.
So yeah, so he did.
Is that the one? Yeah.
Yeah. So there was 3. That was the one I wanted to talk to you about anyway. So he said that he's happy for, in a nutshell, he said that he's happy for players to look at free agency. He's happy to, if the offer's there, go for it, look at it. And that no matter what happens, we're going to be managed well and under the TPP. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, Collingwood doesn't give a stuff then who you are. The club comes first, which I love that mentality because it puts the onus back on the player. No one's bigger than the club. And, this is the way that it's going to be. He said very similar words before the announcement of Braden Maynard when he signed his 4-year deal.
Yep.
If Bucks ends up coaching Melbourne, do you think Checkers will go?
I mean, out of the 2, just to put this out there real quick, out of the 2, I think Checkers is the one that we can afford to lose the most. In saying that, if he stays, I'm not really going to complain that much. Elliot seems like it just feels like Elliot has, or I mean, even Fly had a video today about how he was mentioning Elliot and stuff, and I feel like those things can kind of go either way. Because Fly was mentioning about how with Elliot, how it's like, oh, we love Elliot, like he has great value to the club and all these things. I guess it depends if you're glass half full, glass half empty, if you want how you want to read into that. But yeah, I mean, yeah, for me, I think out of the 2, if one has to go, I think Checkers is the one. I've been sort of on the Howes bandwagon. I know someone mentioned it before. I just have a feeling that he's going to have like a long sort of impact in the preseason, where he's going to have that big preseason, and we're sort of going to go, oh, who the hell is this guy? That's been something I've been probably speaking about for, I don't know, at least a good month. I feel like, because we saw with Long, even us, Sullivan to a point of view as well. I feel like once players get that AFL preseason, because I just don't think, I think we're living in an AFL world now where you can't just turn up and play anymore. I mean, that's why we're struggling with like Hill at the moment, where Hill's got to train 2 to 3 weeks just to get a game, and if he's not fully committing to training for 2 to 3 weeks, he can't play because the standard of AFL is just too strong now. And I remember a few years ago, I was watching I want to say it was the 2006 grand final, when it was Sydney and West Coast, I believe. Can't remember if it was the first one or the second one in a row.
2006 was the second one. The second one. The first one was 05,
Yeah.
where Leo Barry took that mark, and the second one was 06, where West Coast won by a point.
Yeah, I think it was '06. Either way, if you watch that game, the standard of footy back in '06 to now, like like the fastest player in '06 would probably struggle to catch up to players in the current day today.
Mm.
And I think that just shows you sort of the standard and stuff where back in '06, if you have the talent and sort of ability and enough of a uh standard of match fitness throughout the season, you probably could just turn up and play, right? But
Mm.
I think now the standard of AFL in the current days, it's just not feasible to ask of an AFL player to just turn up and play anymore. At least I don't
No, no,
think it. At
no,
least,
no. I agree with that 100%. Have you gained more confidence this week or with the week off? Have you gained more confidence with the game against Adelaide that we might get them this time? Like after
yeah,
the prep that we've had,
absolutely.
like like compared to the game against Melbourne, even after we won, there was
Mm,
like this is like yeah we won, and then obviously the drive home or the way home or whatever you were doing at home watching the game, and then Port Adelaide beat Gold Coast, and then there's like hang on a second, there's a double chance here now,
yep.
and then all of a sudden you start to feel a bit more confident in hang on a second, we're in a qualifying final against a side that we've got a fantastic record against in general, not just in finals. I'm not going to buy the
Yep.
finals record against South Australian sides. It's whatever. But just that
Yep.
so we've got a good record playing up there. I feel this week we've, like, especially with the week off, I'm so confident against Adelaide compared to what I was a couple of weeks ago against them. Are you feeling that as well?
I mean, I've sort of always had, with my confidence with Adelaide, I've sort of always had it. I just feel like, yeah, we've always done well against them. I think even like the loss, like yes, we lost to them last time, but it was only 3 points, and for those, just to take us back to that game, like our entries inside 450 were woeful. Yes, I know there was like a massive part of people talking about the umpiring and stuff, but I think I think the issues that we had as a club, oh sorry, as a playing group were far more obvious and stuck out a lot more than just what the umpires were doing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I think yeah, if we fix up that, we get our forward 50 entries right, take a couple contested marks with checkers, mixed day, and you know, and with like players like that, I think he turned the result around pretty much because at the end of the day, it was only 3 points, right? So,
Mm.
because I remember after the game, one of the first things I think I tweeted was that you put the 2010 key forward line up in that game. We win that game by 40 plus or even 10 goals.
Mm.
Because the way that we were kicking the ball inside forward 50, it was sort of like, the classic, Maxwell sort of, just talking it in there,
Mm.
and just sending in those bombs. And it's fine to do that if that's the game plan, but you need your cloaks, you need your doors, and you need your Lee Browns there. But
You
because
think
it's
though
not
with the three,
2010, yeah.
yeah, but you think that with the three triple M's up forward, we'll be able to take a contested mark up there with the ball coming in there like that. But I just didn't see that against them. And even against Melbourne, it was only that final, probably the first quarter, even though we could kick straight. The delivery wasn't too bad into the forward line, but that 15-minute part of the last quarter where we had to do against Melbourne. I mean, if we were already in front against them and we put the pedal to the metal, we would have run them off by more than 6 points easy. And the way the ball was transitioning into the forward line, it was like, well, this is refreshing after, playing the majority of the game in the way that we did. If we can
Yeah.
take that 15 minutes against Melbourne and we can play that against Adelaide for 3 quarters, like, that they're going to come at us, especially in the second quarter. They're going to come at us real hard. And I just feel
Yeah.
as if we can just hold them off, then in that comeback that they usually do, we're a really good chance here. But then at the end of the day, we can do whatever we want. We can win every stoppage around the ground. We can bomb the ball long down forward. We're just got to hit a target. And that's our biggest thing. It's our 450 entries. So, Sean, I'm going to move on soon, mate. Thanks for jumping on. What's your tip for the game against Adelaide?
Yeah, I mean, I just think we're going to win. It's a bit difficult to say how much by. I'll just say this because every time I seem to tip large margins, it normally doesn't go my way. So I'll just say it
Okay.
Pies by 4 points.
Oh,
So
4
hopefully,
points.
because every time I tip a low amount, we always beat a team. And we always beat
whatever
them well, so,
works, man. Whatever works.
Yeah,
We'll get out of
so-
bed, the right side of the bed in the morning, eat the breakfast that you had back in 2023, if you can remember what you did. I'm very superstitious, so I'm
sure I've got plenty of them. I don't have any of them coming to mind right now, but I'm sure there are some.
I've got the t-shirt, the hat. I gotta brush my teeth before and after I have breakfast. I've got to go through. I've got to go through the right routine first, and if anything throws me out, then I'm just all over the shop. But thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it, and hopefully we can chat next week, and we've got the week off again. What do you reckon?
No, sounds like a plan. Yeah, if we can execute it, that'd be perfect.
Done. Thanks, Sean. Appreciate it, mate. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, see ya.
So I just want to also touch on another thing that Craig Kelly said on SEN today, which sort of left me a little bit like thinking what's going to happen. Now, we all saw the footage. I mean, Swoops put it up. Jen's Training Buzz. Curtis Sofo Photography. I mean, you can go on Insta and just check everything out. And he's we can see the footage of Bobby Hill at training. So I just want to say this before I get the next person on. I think Bobby Hill will not play, obviously, against Adelaide. It is going to be interesting if Bobby Hill is in the captain's run on Wednesday. So they have the 45-minute session on Wednesday, then they'll head off Wednesday afternoon, right after training, pretty much, to go to Adelaide. And that'll be their last run. They're not doing any training in Adelaide. They're just getting there, stick together, and then go to the game on Thursday. Now, if Bobby Hill is in the captain's run on Wednesday, I think we're all going to be hanging out at the end of our chair to see if he's going to get selected. I don't think you can play Bobby as an emergency because I think mentally that's probably the worst thing for him because that just shows, he's so close, but he's not playing. When mentally, I don't know, I can't really say, but I would assume the best thing for him to do would be to play. Craig Kelly said, in regards to Bobby Hill, all we want with Bobby is to get him back at training again, get the smile on his face, and then we'll see what happens. He then went up and said he's got the utmost confidence on getting him back to a spot of who knows what happens. My opinion is that if he trains on the captain's run on Wednesday, I honestly think he's a chance. I don't take it as he completely ruled him out, but I don't think, personal opinion is he won't play against Adelaide. I think the best result for us with him as a team, because we are better with Bobby Hill on the side, and there's no ifs or buts about it. We are so much better. I would love us to win this game, have a week off, and then pretty much give him the ultimatum and say, listen, we want you to play in the prelim. We need you to play in the prelim. We're going to absolutely flog you on the track this week. And then leading into the prelim, you can have a normal, easier run and just do the main session and the captain's run. But flog him in that week and get him prepared and basically just say, listen, how bad do you want it? Because he shows he's from what we're hearing outside of the media, inside the media, from people close to the club, from what I'm hearing as well, is he wants to be in there. And if someone who is going through all the crap that he's going through, if someone is ready to come into the side and wants to play, give him a go. If he's got the trust back of the team, if he's got the trust back of the coaching staff, and he's mentally ready, because as you can be physically fit to play the game, but you need to be mentally ready as well. If he ticks those boxes, and look, if he's 80% match fit, but he's 100% mentally ready to go, I'm sorry, an 80% fit Bobby Hill is better than half our team, half our forward line. You put him in there. That's my personal opinion. So I don't think he'll play against Adelaide, but I do think that he will get a go in the prelim, especially if we win. If we don't get up against Adelaide again, I think it's going to be touch and go. But then you just, most likely, in my opinion, play against Hawthorn the week after, and you need to take risks. I'd rather go out in straight sets, taking the risks and going for it, than being conservative and trying to play this mind game stuff and then just getting wiped off the park. So I'm going to leave that comment by Mick because I'm about to get him on and I want to talk about that comment with him. Sean's superstition, Sean, who I had on earlier on, said it's odd socks, his superstition. So can you make sure you wear odd socks on Thursday and maybe just every day for the rest of the football season, just wear odd socks. Michael Gary has said here's an idea, play Cox. Have him up forward. Cameron can play ruck and drop down to the back line to help him out. There's an option too, especially if it's dry. If it's wet, I wouldn't go. Sean said Kelly has ruled out Bobby, but yeah, it'll be good signs if it's an emergency. Stefano says the week off is huge. Beat Adelaide and the team gets stronger with Bobby and Jeremy in. Just wish we had Howe against Adelaide, especially with no Rankin. Anyway. 100% you're correct. I'm always correct. 70% Bobby sends fear into defenders in tight games. And that's the thing too. I mean, Bobby can, Anzac Day for me is a perfect example. I mean, he was quiet for so much of the game in the wet. And then he got his hands on the ball on the wing, got it, bounced, run with it, kicked into the forward line. 30 seconds later, after the stoppage, bang. Kicks one of the goals of the season on the boundary line. You only need, and Jared Waitley says it about De Goey, the De Goey moments and this and that, where I think De Goey's at a point now where he is, and Swoop put a video out today about De Goey being like the X Factor in finals, and he is, let's be real. He is the X Factor in finals. But it's no more about the De Goey moments. It's about, for me, the De Goey duration, the explosiveness of him, and how long he can go for doing what he does. It's the Bobby Hill moments. And if we can have him back in the side at some point this final series, that'd be amazing. We may not see him, but it is what it is. Stefanos, 70% Bobby sends fear into defenders in tight games. 100%. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to get the Chronicles on Black and White United. Mick, how are you, buddy?
What's up, mate? How are you?
Oh, mate, I'm G'ing myself up. I'm getting so confident. I had it written down here, and I was going to talk about it after I got everyone off. It was the last thing I wrote on my notebook today when I was doing my agenda stuff. And you've put the question up at 9:10, so about 14 minutes ago. I'm going to put it up here. You said Checkers gets schooled by Keane again, and then it's bye-bye Checkers, thanks for the memories. And I write down on my notebook the key matchup for this game against Adelaide, out of all of them, is Keane and Myercheck.
Fucking oath, man. I'll tell you what, he's got the week off, yeah? All right? And you can tell Checkers is a proud – you can see it in his eyes when he plays. He's a proud player, yeah? Doesn't like to get beaten. And he would be bleeding about that game 3 weeks ago. So he's got the week off. This year, he can only play like 3 matches in a row. He's got the week off. He has to perform. And if he wants to get 2 years, mate, if he has a shocker, get another shocker, mate, he's fucking dreaming, man. I expect a minimum of 2 goals from him on Thursday. That's got to be the minimum from Checkers.
If we win against Adelaide, and let's say Keane gives him a bath, right? But Checkers still scores 2 goals and we win. What happens in that? What will be the opinions then? Because
Well, look,
yeah, go on.
because look, if he gets towed up, if Keane takes a million fucking intercepts on him, but he still kicks his 2 and we win, then that would be a pass, yeah. Because he's our tall forward, yeah. We need him to bring the ball to ground. If he can just get those 2 goals, which will be crucial, that's a pass mark. But you just don't want to see him getting outmarked. And I'll tell you what, man, it's happened a lot this year. He's been outmarked a lot, and it's very un-Checkers like.
Yeah, I think he's been bashed around again, and I felt as if so leading up until 2023, he was basically our tall forward, and Jamie Elliott, who's 5'10", and I say this all the time so people can understand. Jamie Elliott is the same height as Lockie Schultz. You may not think so, but they're both 5'10". Okay, Jamie Elliott plays as a tall forward. You have 3 tall forwards in the side. Jamie Elliott, you barely ever see him on the ground. He's still going up for speckies. He's still doing whatever. Okay. Leading up until 2023, McStay comes into the side. McStay plays deep, or Checkers plays deep, or whatever. McStay, apart from when he was injured, was playing amazing. Even in the 23 prelim final, right?
Yeah.
Checkers, it allowed Checkers to become number 2. It allowed Jamie to become number 3, and it worked. This season, last season, a bit of a write-off. It's a premiership hangover. It is what it is. This season, you bring in Membry, okay? Membry's taken the marks on the half-forward flank. You look at the goals Membry's kicked. The majority of the goals Membry kicks are on the half-forward flank, or they're further out, as opposed to, around the goal square area. I'd love him to take ones there, but he doesn't. A few of the goals that he scored on the run and stuff, or from open play, have been closer in, but all his set shots are around the 50-meter line and on an angle. So he's pushing it up forward, taking those marks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you got Jamie Elliott, who's doing the roving, but he's also taking marks on the half-forward flank. Okay. Dan McStay is trying to take marks in the goal square, which he should be doing, right? But he's not, because he's dropping and he's out of form or whatever. But then Checkers gets sucked into doing that again. Checkers gets sucked into going down deep into the forward line, and he's getting smashed by the main defender the whole time. If you look at the game against Melbourne, Stephen May, right, their main defender, because Lever was out, he was going on Jamie Elliott. He couldn't give 2 shits where McStay was. And and don't get me wrong, this isn't a McStay bashing session. But my point is, you gotta have Checkers playing higher up the ground, where it's a bit more open, as opposed to the one-on-one contest down forward. And I don't think that's working for us, having Checkers deep. You've got to have him up higher, and McStay needs to play down forward a hell of a lot more. And that's the reason why I think, when Checkers goes to that last line in the forward line, he's just getting manhandled half the time by bigger defenders.
Yeah.
So
and he's not that tall. Yeah, he's not that tall. We've asked a lot for him. He's had a very honourable, proud career, yeah? For someone that just got picked up out of obscurity to achieve what he's done, I take my hat off to him. But at the end of the day, man, we need him to step up. He's had his rest, and if he doesn't give us a good shift on Thursday, man, and he still asks for 2 years, he's fucking dreaming, man. But
so your opinion though, if we have to keep one and we have to lose one for the books more than anything, and obviously I think there's a motive behind it, and people can take this however they want. I think we're getting Ben King from Gold Coast next season. This time next year, I think he's the one. I think he's the big fish that we're going to try and land, right? So that's probably why they're only offering McStay a year or whatever,
Yeah.
because it'll be time to go, and we've got to get
Yeah.
him in. And then
Yeah.
at the same time, too, Membry's not going to be there forever. He's obviously a bit older, so he'll be there for another 2 or 3, and then he'll go. You
Yeah.
know, Elliott's only going to be there for another 2 if he puts pen to paper, and
Yeah.
that's pushing it. Okay,
Mm.
so I think Ben King's the one they've got to go after. Would you?
Yeah. Yep. Go on.
Would you? Let's just say they both wanted to stay really badly, and I posed this question to Sean before. If Bucks coaches Melbourne, do you think Checkers would want to go?
I reckon he would, because Bucks loves him. Yeah. Every time you look at when Bucks is doing the special comments, he's always praising Checkers. You know, I've heard comments from him. If Checkers stays down, that means he's really hurt, because he always gets up. So yeah, he'll go to I reckon he'll go if Bucks gets the D's job.
How do we stop? How do we stop Keane? I'm still thinking about this Keane thing as well. How do we stop those intercept marks? Do we think that McStay is the one? Oh, sorry, Checkers is the one that goes on Keane.
Perhaps, but I look at it like this: if our midfield is on top and we're storming through the centre, then the Keane problem isn't there as much, because we're getting the ball into the forward 50 fast, and with all those Elliott's and your Membrys, all that, because the midfield's on top, they've got chances to lead and to separate from their men. Then the Keane factor goes away. I reckon it's in moments when our midfield isn't on top and we get that rare occasion where we've got the ball and we don't know what to do and we just bomb it long, and Keane's got all the time in the world to anticipate.
Yeah.
And that's why
we saw that against Adelaide before. Like,
yeah,
that was the biggest problem. I mean, and then Checkers has taken finally a delivery into the forward line in the last quarter, and he takes a mark, and he's like 55, 60 meters out for goal. It's like, mate, why aren't you 45, 35, 45 meters out in front of goal? You know, and they've just and you're too far out, right? And then you got to rely on, he's going to have a shot that's going to go on the line. And Adelaide have got one of the taller sides in the competition. I mean, you've got to clear it now. You need a 70-meter drop punt, and he didn't. He didn't even make a distance. You know, so I just wish. I never thought you'd see the day that, you know, especially if you go back in 2023, and you say in a couple of years, Keane's going to be the one that, you know, can potentially stop you guys from winning a premiership.
Yeah, I never really rated him that much too. Like, remember the talk earlier this year, we were trying to get him, and I'm thinking he's fucking shit, but mate.
Yeah. I don't think he was. Yeah. I don't think he was ready against when he was playing for us and stuff like that. But I do think that him going back to Ireland and whatever they're doing in Adelaide is working for him, and I think that, you know, with us offering him like a spot to come back, I mean, if you're playing in form and you're building relationships at that club, you probably wouldn't want to leave anyway, regardless. So it was probably better for him personally, and I love to see him do well, just not against us. Chris has put a comment. He says McStay tagging Keane can be an option because he was a defender or Myercheck. I think it's more the fact that we also want Keane to go on one of our forwards and go with one of our forwards, as opposed to our forwards going up against a defender. The only time that I've ever seen any of our forwards go up against a defender was Frampton against Harris Andrews in that grand final, and he became basically a lockdown forward, and it worked for 3 quarters. And I reckon if, just quietly, I know we're looking back now, but I reckon if Frampton had kicked the mark that he dropped in the second quarter on the goal square, and then we ended up getting a goal afterwards, and then the one where he dropped where it went through his hands, those two, if he had taken those 2 marks and kicked those 2 goals, I'll tell you what, I reckon every Collingwood supporter will be saying he was best on ground that game. Sean said as well, he goes, Bucks played him as a one-on-one key defender, which wasn't his main strength. He's better in a more looser role. That's true. And then Stephanos has said, can only have Elliott or Checkers in 2027 with Ben King. If it happens, Howes and West can fill the void if either goes. And I think the club's preparing for that regardless. But my personal opinion on that is that I would obviously rather Jamie Elliott playing if we had to lose one of them now.
Yeah, 100% agree on that.
Yeah. So, and look, to be honest, I mean, Checkers has served the club so well. If he was to go and it was a money thing, you know, it wasn't even a money thing, it'd be just a longevity thing for his career and stuff. I genuinely don't think that any Collingwood supporter is going to be turning around saying anything. At the end of the day, you're a premiership player with us and you've done your part, and, you know, thank you pretty much, and go and sail off into the sunset and try and do something at your other side. Probably something some Carlton supporters should probably take note of. Speaking of which, I'd love to get your opinion on this, because Michael Gary has just put up a comment. He says, on a different note, you're talking about big fish. Curnow wants out of Carlton now, and he's willing to pay us for play. I think you meant to say play there, for significantly less money, even though he wants to go interstate. Under absolutely no circumstances do I think Collingwood has any pulling power whatsoever to get Charlie Curnow, although I would love him. And then I'd be like, see you later, Checkers, or see you later, McStay, or whatever. I don't think that Curnow will ever come to Collingwood. But if there was a side, Mick, that he was going to leave to, who do you reckon would be best suited for Charlie Curnow? I know this is not Collingwood related, but I just, as a football fan perspective, who would you think would be the best thing for him to go to?
Sydney, yeah. They really need a big, tall guy up forward, and he'd be suited over there too. There'll be less attention on him, and that's all I can say on that matter.
I think
with us, I'd take him for us if he was on peanuts. I'd take him in a heartbeat, because I reckon he'd play better with us than he does for them. But at the same time, it's not going to happen, so it's probably not worth it.
No. I personally think the best suited side for him would be West Coast, especially with Oscar Allen leaving. Structurally, he'd be amazing. I also think that he would be really good at Essendon, and then, you know, 2 meter Peter, I don't think really will get a game if he was there, but I think Essendon need that key forward. I mean, also too, you look at Sam Draper. He's probably, if you had to put all the free agents up on a list right now, I would love to have him at Collingwood, and just the how he could help out DC. And I think he just, honestly, I think if you put someone like him in our side right now, we'd win the flag this year, regardless.
Yeah, he'd be the perfect Cox replacement. And he doesn't seem like the type that, like, you get a lot of ruckmen that become free agents. They want to be full-time rucks. You can tell Draper doesn't mind fucking spending a lot of time in the forward line or just chopping out. He doesn't want to be the number one guy, you know? Like someone like Marshall from St Kilda, he wants to be the number one guy. He won't want to come anywhere to be like a part-time chop-out ruck, you know?
Yeah. See, Marshall's someone I definitely like to have it. I think he's most likely will probably end up going to Geelong, and then you'd have I think Winhager. It's pretty obvious he's going to stay. I think Marshall's probably the one for St Kilda that would leave. What's your opinion on the whole Sauce thing? I'd love to know, because I've been told from some pretty high up people from the Carlton side of things, some ex-Carlton players as well, that he wants to play for Collingwood. And this was about 2 weeks ago. And then a week after that, it's come out and said that he's told Carlton he's leaving. And obviously, because that was the exit meeting and stuff. And I'm pretty sure we had him regardless of the Bulldogs or North or whatever. It was ours. But this offer that St Kilda's offering has thrown a massive spanner in the works. What's your opinion on this whole thing? Because I put in my first jab, I mean, with the Saints, they're spending 20% of their TPP on 3 players if they get
ridiculous, huh?
Yeah.
With JSauce, he won me over this year with his first half of the year. Before that, I never really rated him. I've still got memories of McCreary fucking gang tackling him on the wing and running off and setting up a goal or kicking a goal. It was probably the first game back in 2022, I think, we played him. So I just had that vision in my head. I'm like, this guy's a spud, man. But but this year he's as a defender, he was supreme and in all Australian contention if he kept playing. So I think it's a no-brainer. I reckon we can get his body right, and I'm all for him coming with us and being with his mates Dan and Josh, and he would complement us perfectly. And cherry on top, just to give those blue baggers, something to fucking whine about.
Yeah. And I mean, the amount of players they've taken off us in the past, and coaches and coaching staff, and I mean, I could have a list of players that would just go on, and you never really see it go from them to us.
Yeah,
I think it might have been. I think it was a Jordan Russell.
Jordan Russell.
Russell
That's
ended
the
up
only one I
being.
can think of.
No, we got Chris Bryan as well.
Yeah,
who played a little bit for him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Before I let you go, I just quickly, Peter Nuts put a really good point up here. Sauce won't play at the club his father's at, which I think is a big thing too. I mean, that's either a definite yes or a definite no. I don't think there's anything in the middle there with that statement. It's either he wants to or he doesn't. And we've got here, Pies will match the Saints for Sauce, and that's why that was sacrificed a senior player. The only thing that I think that we can do to is up the offer with obviously the money that is being released off the cap with Will Hoskin Elliott retiring. So unless they've already accounted for that in their list management for next season where they weren't going to offer him something, maybe you can up it another 100K a year and see. But at the same time, we have to worry about our list management and about what we do. So, I mean, I'm not going to blow the budget for a player, and let's be real, here's what we need. But he's a B plus to an A player. He's not an A plus player or anything. He just would suit us perfectly for what we need. For what we need at the moment. Mick, going into the Adelaide game, we've obviously spoken about that key matchup. Is there anywhere else around the ground that you think that we need to really watch, or that we can actually get on top of these guys at all?
Yeah. Okay, so I'm sticking with my tip of us winning by between 20 and 30 points. The reason is, I reckon if we halve the midfield, ranking out is huge for us. If we halve the midfield, if Checkers has a better game than last, and the X factor for us is Geordie. Geordie's prime, he's ready to go. I reckon he had that great first quarter against the Crows in that game. I reckon he's primed to have a big final series. And I'm very confident that we can win this game. And yeah, looking forward to it, man. Yeah, that's all I got to say on that. Just half the midfield, man.
100%. I think I do think we're gonna. I said last time we played them, I think we're going to jump them early, and they're going to come back in the second quarter, and it happened.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to jump them in the first quarter. I think it's going to be neck and neck. I think the second quarter they start to get a bit of momentum. We're not hanging on for dear life, but for every 2 goals they score, we score 1. Every 2 they score, we score 1. I just think in the third quarter, I've just got this feeling, come out after halftime. The first couple of minutes of the third quarter, it's an arm wrestle again, and then all of a sudden the transition starts. All of a sudden the entries inside 50 were a lot more open. We start kicking goals that we wouldn't have kicked against Melbourne or against Adelaide the week before that, and things start rolling again. And I think if we can put them away in the third quarter, I think there'll be enough maturity in the group, which I think is a massive thing that we haven't spoken about a lot, is the maturity in the group. If we can get ourselves into that position, then we should be okay. Just that if we don't get ourselves into that position and we're cooked, then we'll know in the first 10 minutes of the game how it is. but I just think the third quarter is going to be massive. I don't want to be playing catch up and do that defibrillator bullshit against them or whatever it is. I just want to see some real mature finals football, hard contested football. We get them on the break, and I want to see players like Lipinski have a blinder. We're due for Jack Crisp to dominate. I want to see Isaac Quaynard just do his thing, and then you have the McCrearys, the DeGoeys and stuff like that doing their little match-winning things throughout the game. I think is going to be absolutely massive for us. Any other final words before I let you go, Mick?
Nothing, man. Just on the theme of superstitions, as you were talking before.
Yes.
Look at this one, mate. My superstition until the 2023 grand final, mine was don't go to grand finals. Because 2002, 2003, 2010 draw, but I didn't get tickets for the replay. 2011. The one against West Coast, and then finally 2023 I went to the game and my mates were saying, don't come, man, just fucking stay home. And like right at the end I thought, oh no, I've jinxed it again. But that was my superstition until we won that 2023 was that was
all right. So if we happen to make the grand final, let's look far ahead and be really optimistic about this now. If we happen to make the grand final, right, and you get tickets for the grand final, regardless if we're 10 goals down at halftime or we're 1 point down at halftime, get out of the MCG. I'll find you. I'll kick you out myself if I have to. Go home, right? I'll book you an Uber. What area do you live in? You're in the north, yeah?
South Marine.
Yeah. Perfect. My son plays footy there. I know exactly where you're going. So what you can do is get in an Uber, go straight to South Marine, right? Yeah. And then stream the last quarter on your YouTube channel and get the subscribers up, and then watch us win a flag on your channel.
Sounds like a deal.
Because I'm not having that. I can't do that again, mate. I'm 36 years of age, and I've seen 02, and I know if my old man's watching, he'll be like, "Oh, shut up! I saw the fucking 77, 79, 80, 81 lost, blah blah blah." But I'm 36 years of age, man. That's just the club traumatized me. 02, 03. We should have won the flag in 07 when we lost to Geelong in that prelim. A draw in 2010, the week after the euphoria, then the Geelong, the West Coast grand final. I'm going to say this now, and I know this is going to bring Peter Nuts just turn around and says, "I'm with your dad." Yeah, I know. The West Coast grand final, out of all the grand finals that I've seen us lose, that one was like a death in the family. That one was, for me, that hurt. And then I think winning it in 23 obviously sort of wiped that away. Like I was able to let go of it now. Yeah. But you know what I love? And I'm just going to put this out there for you. Since I've been watching Colin, apart from 1990, because I was only one, so 1.5, doesn't matter. But we lost 02 and 03 to Brisbane. We knocked Brisbane off in a grand final. We have the opportunity to potentially play against Geelong in a grand final. They knocked us off in 11. We knock them off in the grand final. Then West Coast all of a sudden get everything right, and then we can beat West Coast in the grand final, and we can beat the 3 teams that we lost grand finals to. We could potentially beat them just going the other way around. Yeah. So we've already done Brisbane. Already done Brisbane.
Yeah.
We can do Geelong, and then we can do by the time West Coast get up there, I'll probably have grandkids, so who knows how long that'll take. But anyway, whatever. All right, mate. Well, I'm going to let you go. I've got another one coming on. Give your channel a shout out, please, because there's a fair few people on now. Where can we find you?
Magpie Army Chronicles. You can see it above my head. I do live streams. I usually do 2 live streams a week. One after the teams are named in the evening, and then one after I do a fan cams where everyone jumps on and just talks shit after the game. And both these streams usually go on for about 3 or 4 hours. We've gone up to 5 hours once, and the conversation just flows.
if
Yeah.
I did a 5-hour stream, I reckon my wife will come out and belt me on the spot. But
Well,
I've got
I'm
about
not-
10 minutes left before I go.
I'm not far away, mate. Like,
Yeah.
she's having third words to me. She's telling me I'm going through a midlife crisis starting a YouTube channel at the age of 48. So
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Wait till you get to 1,000 subscribers, and then all of a sudden you see that, oh, I made $100 a month off this. Hey, technically it's a job. How good's that? Just before I let you go, there's one name I want to say to you with 3 syllables, or it's probably got like 10 syllables now, but Alexandros.
Oh, how good was it, man? I
Unbelievable.
was very. So it was a good surprise knowing that you're a supporter as well, man. That's unbelievable.
yeah. I've had some family ties with the club. My man, big Heidelberg United fan. We went to a lot of games back in the mid 90s. Dad obviously followed them a lot longer. And then we went to almost every home game at Victoria Park when they were the Collingwood Warriors for that season.
Collingwood Warriors.
Yeah, my favorite player back then for me was Andy Vlahos. He was my favorite. And I had a little soft spot for South Melbourne, obviously, with the whole Greek connection. I loved Michael Krisager at South Melbourne. My heart's with Heidelberg. And it's just, it would have been nice if Avondale had won and they played against Avondale in the final.
Yeah.
It's like I think a thing. But with that being said, Heidelberg have defeated three A-League opposition in Western Sydney, Wellington, and obviously who they knock off? Auckland, and they won they won the Premier's Plate last season. So I know this is not a soccer channel for everybody, but there's some deep roots there with Heidelberg United. So the working class club there. So, but Mick, thanks for coming on, and I shall talk to you soon, mate. Have a good one, buddy. Cheers.
Catch you later, bro.
All right. So I've got a couple of minutes left. I've got one more guest ready to come on. And then Peter's just made a really good comment here. Actually, I'll get to Sean's first. Just here. He said, he goes, 2018 broke my heart. I didn't go to 2023 because I couldn't go through the heartache again. The train ride ruined me after the game. Quick story. So after the 2018 grand final, I was either going to stay at the G for the after party. But my missus, my mum, and a few of my mates are at Crown Casino. And I had to walk back from the MCG to Crown Casino to the pub, which was called Lagerfield back then. And I was in tears the whole time. And I had people laughing at me on the way through. And then, but front up. And then it is what it is, which was a little bit disappointing. But 23 sort of made up for it. So whatever. Peter says here, if the Pies shut down Dawson and Keys, we win. Look, the problem is Dawson's that good. Keys maybe, but just Dawson, I don't know. He's just a gun. I mean, how are you going to stop him? I don't think you really can. You're just gonna try to limit his time on the ball. Whenever we've got the ball, you've got to try and just keep it in the direction where he's not. But then they've got tools and stuff too. So how you manage that, I'm not sure. Do we tag him? No. We've never tagged all season. Why would you do something now and then risk, having another midfielder just running rings around us? So I don't know. But I think Long's probably going to be the one that goes against Dawson. So Chris, don't worry, man. I cried a lot as well. Yeah. Sean, huge game for Long. Heads up against Dawson. There you go. So I think that's I think you can put Dacos on him. Or De Goey. I wouldn't put De Goey on him because I think De Goey's need is to do his thing as opposed to worrying so much about another person. Peter said here, Crisp runs with Dawson, hurts him coming back. I think that's a really good matchup too. Kev's Magpies, I'm going to get him on. He's been waiting patiently for an hour and a half. We'll get him on for 5 minutes. And Kev, how you going, buddy?
Yeah, good, mate. How are you?
Not too bad. Sorry to keep you waiting, mate. We've had a huge show tonight. How's your confidence going into this game compared to, I asked you the question last week, but now that we've had the week off, the players have regrouped. How are you feeling going into this game now? Are you feeling a bit more Are you feeling
I'm
confident?
very confident. Yeah,
I like
very
that.
confident. Also, too, went to the open training on Sunday as well. So saw Bobby there, saw Bo there. And the boys actually looked like they were hungry, like they
Mm.
really wanted to come out and play well. So I think
How
because
was
of the
how was
week off,
Bobby training? How was Bobby's training? Like, did he look?
yeah, he looked alright. I think he did some running and that sort of thing, but he was on the further away from me. I mainly had the guys doing the handball drills and that sort of thing as well, and then
Mm,
you had Bo running up and down as well. So yeah, look, I think he'll play in Bo. I think with them two, if they do play, I think that would definitely hurt Adelaide's chances in defense, and they'll panic more because Bo's very quick. Bo can also deliver the footy inside 50 as well, and we can get scores out of it as well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
yeah, nice. Would you bring Cox in for this game or probably not?
Personally, yes. The reason why I say that is because you need someone to back up Darcy Cameron.
Mm,
You never want to have Darcy Cameron and McStay as a backup ruck, as ruck and backup. I think Cox, who's taller than McStay, can play that role really well and can, when the tap works, can go back and take intercept marks as well and can kick goals. That goal he kicked against Richmond in a wild card round where he just snapped on 50, mate, that was a really good kick. So personally, I would have played him, but again, that I play Will Hoskinelli as well because it's his.
mm.
You never know when our season's going to end.
Yeah, look, I totally agree with what you're saying in theory, but I think the most frustrating part of all this too is every single week we have made chops and changes to our side. I can't remember a game this season where we have had the same team going in from one week to another. And Bozza, if you're on this chat still, and if you can tell me, that'd be great. But I'm gonna look it up myself anyway, and because I want to talk about it in my preview for the Adelaide game. I don't think we've had I mean, if we've got injuries and stuff like that, you really can't help that. And suspensions, obviously, we picked up Houston, and then he was suspended, so we had to wait. So then he came in the second game, which is the round one game, and then Houston obviously got suspended against Carlton, so there was changes there. We've had injuries non-stop. So it's just frustrating. I don't think it's really good for the chemistry, and Chris has actually said the same thing. It's ruined our chemistry. But yeah, I just really would like to see us have a settled side. But then the players that are waiting in the wing, I mean, they'd be good acquisitions. At all, Bozza has come up with the facts. It says we haven't had a full team at all this year. Kev, are you going up to Adelaide? Did you manage to get a ticket and catching the bus, or are you
No,
watching it?
no, I'll be watching at home. Unfortunately, it's because I've got work as well. Don't think I
Yeah,
can get time off for that. So yeah,
I
look,
I
I'll just
was
watch it at home.
I was very close on going. Even tonight, I was very close on pulling the trigger and going, but I just it's just a Thursday night. If it was Friday night, I think it would be completely different. Kev, your tip for this game against Adelaide, and then next week we will review it. What are you saying?
Collingwood by 5 points. I think it will be another tight one. I think with our record in finals and especially our record against Adelaide, there's something about Adelaide that they can't beat us. Yes, they beat us early this year, like a few weeks ago, but
Mm-hmm.
we've got to remember too that when we beat Adelaide, we've beaten them at the G and at the Adelaide Oval, and this is like our second home ground
I just think
compared
there's a
to
lot.
Marvel.
I think there's a lot of Collingwood supporters going up, which is going to be really helpful. I don't think it's going to be like the other game where it was like, 80-20, 80% Adelaide, 20% Collingwood. I think this is going to be more towards the 60-40 because it's a final. It's a different allocation of tickets, and the amount of Collingwood supporters that I've spoken to that are driving up, I think it's going to be absolutely ridiculous, and I think it's going to be one of our biggest away showings of all time, this game. So we'll see what happens. Kev, I really appreciate you waiting. Thank you so much for joining, and we'll have a chat to you in a couple of weeks. All right, buddy?
All right, mate. Thank you.
Thanks, buddy. All right. So before I wrap us up for today, just thank you to everyone for obviously tuning in. It's been a long one, but a good one. My personal opinion is Adelaide, with the finals experience, that they are lacking in this one here. Stefanos has said the exact same thing I'm probably about to say, but I just think with the finals experience that we've got compared to the finals experience that they have, and our maturity, I think mentally we're way better than them. Just this game, you've also got to be physically matching the opponent, and that's our hope. We're at that point now, especially with the week off. So I am tipping Collingwood to win. I'm tipping Collingwood by 10 points. I think it's going to be a close one either way. Again, it's not going to be a blowout, but I am pretty confident going into this game. A lot more confident going into this game with our experience and the pressure footy that we can apply to them and handle. I'm a lot more confident. But just want to say thank you so much to everyone, obviously, for coming on, to our sponsors, New Homes Victoria. Thank you for everything you guys do for the channel. And a huge shout out this week to the Hopper Bros Barbecue, and in particular Nathan, who's become a dad. Again, it's been a rough couple of, it's been a big couple of weeks for him. And I just say that congratulations on becoming a dad, and I'm sure that everything is going to be fine and work out perfectly for you going forward from now. So I am going to let everybody go. I can see people dropping their things now, and there's a lot of confident Collingwood supporters, which is fantastic. So brought to you by the Hopper Bros Barbecue for all your tips and tricks and everything barbecue. This has been another episode of the Fan Forum. Thank you so much to everyone for jumping on. Make sure you drop a comment. Make sure you always tell me what you think. Call it as you see it. And as always, go the Pies.